Welcome back to another episode of the Rufus Trials on Ascended Together. I've bred out some frogs to help me gather cementing paste and maybe go into some caves with me. I wanted to see how well they perform against some creatures, so I thought I'd saddle them up and take them out as a group for some team training. There, I think that ought to do it for now. Next, I'm going to set up a lead frog and then have 3 groups following. I've found that this can help prevent some of the bunching up and getting stuck that can happen if I just have them all follow one lead frog. This follow the leader style of following seems to work really well. The only trouble is that it takes a bit of time to set up. We'll see how it goes. Great. Now they're all set up following in a nice, orderly fashion. Okay, a mostly orderly fashion. It's time to go out and see what it's like when they fight. We'll just start off small and work our way up to something bigger. That's pretty good. Another thing we can try is to find a bunch of bugs and see how much cementing paste the whole group can gather. Let's see. I don't think I'll ever need to make cementing paste again. This is a great way to gather some of these resources. How well can they handle this? This test just got a lot bigger. I think there's like 4 of them. This is a good test, I suppose. I just glitched out and I'm stuck inside the creature. I feel like this happens more with modded creatures than with regular ones. You've got to really commit when you start to fight with one of them, because sometimes there's just no getting away. All the frogs survived that attack, and I might just be able to claim a baby out of this. It's not really a high level, but maybe it'll come in handy. What's our next test? Sure, how about an alpha raptor? No problem. I wonder which lucky frog got the XP for that. Down the hill just a ways, I saw a creature that I haven't tried to tame yet. The spyglass says it's a passive tame, and it just wants some berries, so I thought we could give it a try. That sound means run. A pteranodon normally isn't aggressive like this, so it's like giving this creature some taming food summons a bunch of angry creatures to me, even ones that aren't normally aggressive. Interesting. There's a good chance I'm not surviving this. Hey, one of my frogs to the rescue. Looks like a few of them are hopping down to save me. Now I get to watch through this knocked out state and see who wins. I'm pretty impressed. It looks like the frogs are winning. After having a near-death experience, laying on a rock knocked out for a bit and getting rescued by a few of my frogs, I decided I'll go and give this creature another feeding and see what happens. I hear the music, but I'm not getting attacked from every angle this time. So perhaps the amount of creatures attacking is a bit random. I can't tell if it just makes nearby creatures aggressive or if it's actually spawning new creatures to attack. Oh, that doesn't sound good. I'm glad that thing didn't come over here. I think I'm going to try to keep away from that thing for now. I think tracking the lead frog might help me find my way back to it when the battle is raging, so I can try to hop away. I guess I wasn't able to slip by with a dozen frogs as quietly as I thought. But it looks like so far, this team has been able to handle some pretty big things. Maybe I spoke too soon. I'm mostly taming this just to learn how, and to give my frogs some battle experience. This isn't really a high level, and this is probably the worst taming food, but at least I can be more prepared if I do want to tame a high level one at some point. And besides, who doesn't want to run through a dark forest being chased by hordes of aggressive creatures, right? I mean, this is living. This is adventure. It looks like my frogs are going to get that test after all, and I'm not even around to see it. I've got to get back there and find out who's going to win this one. The results are in. That's one for the frogs. That's pretty impressive. You might be wondering why I have my frogs stationed so far away from the creature I'm taming. I didn't know what a safe distance would be, and I didn't want a swarm of creatures starting to fight too close to the thing I'm trying to tame. But I do question whether this is really the best way to do this. This is craziness. My whole job is just to stay out of the way as much as I can. But sometimes I get caught in the crossfire. Once again, I find myself knocked out watching the chaos through the fog, just wondering if some blurry creature is going to come up and eat me when I'm completely immobilized. This is the stuff of nightmares. As I recover, my team does a great job of fighting both large and small, especially when you have a lot of them. These frogs seem to do a great job. That's why I like to have a few of them in a cave with me. Since I was getting the frogs into quite a lot of fights, I never really stopped to consider whether they might be getting low on health. Half because I was distracted by this taming exercise, and half because I just wanted to see what they could do. So far, I was impressed. A few times, I had applied some of the points to a mix of health and melee damage. A few times I had collected whatever resources the frogs had gathered, but I didn't really make an effort to find out just how much health the frogs had left. But maybe I should have. They fought some pretty big things, and some little things, and I was glad to see that they won every battle in the end. No matter how big or strong the creature is, if they're losing health along the way, there's going to come a breaking point where they just run out of health. I didn't pay attention to this, and then it started to happen. One by one, I started seeing the red notifications at the top of the screen. My frogs were starting to lose. The very last one. I felt it was safe to assume that I wasn't going to be able to defeat this on my own. So it looks like this adventure was coming to an end, and I wasn't going to finish taming this thing after all. But at least I got a feel for how it worked, so I can be ready next time. I thought I'd use the tracker and see if any of the frogs did survive. They must have got stuck somewhere and never ended up in the battle, but 3 other frogs were found on the tracker and I was able to recover them. It looks like I'll need to breed out some more to actually take with me into a cave, but this was still a good test. These frogs were the not quite right level frogs that were produced during the breeding. The next batch can actually be the fully combined higher level frogs from my breeding pair. And then we'll try going into a cave in a future episode. Thanks for watching.